Those cliches.
Wouldn't that be nice? You wake up on the first and you're like,
yeah, here
boom.
I am. All the results just came, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that would be nice, right? But there's no personal development in that.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, boys and girls, we got Coach Tony Drake in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Boom. I won't make a long introduction since we did a 3-part series to which I'll link up here so you can check it out real quick if you want to learn more about Tony's background, mindset, and transformation. But today we're going to talk about how you can finish
Oh,
the
snap.
year.
Just a little strong.
The year strong.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, Tony, thanks for
brother.
being here. You know, when I went through my things thinking, how can I portray something or research something
Yeah.
and give the audience how they can finish the year strong, and then looking at my own practices, I was thinking about you, right? Like
Okay.
you coach a lot of people, so I thought maybe we can just jump right into things and see what were the questions that you were getting toward year end, how can we finish the year strong? What are some tools, tactics,
Yep.
some tips and tricks? So that's what I want to just jump off of, and if anything comes to mind right away, I mean, I have a couple of questions prepared, but let's jump right in.
Yeah, man, I'm excited, and it's a trip because during the New Year's, getting ready for the New Year's, a lot of people are already projected into the New Year's resolution.
Sure.
Right, but it's like you guys have a month left. You guys have 20 days left, 15 left. Why are you wasting those days trying to project into a new year?
Right.
You done that last year and it didn't work. You done it the year before that and it didn't work. How about we make a little switch, and then this way mentally you can get started in a whole different realm of I want to start now. Mm-hmm. Why wait till the new year? So we'll talk more about that, but of course, being here again, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm
Absolutely.
ready. We ready. We about to get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and that brings up a good point. I think why waste the time now and say, come January 1st, I'm going to hit the gym, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to treat my partner a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that may be. I don't think it needs to wait.
Nope.
Right? I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So what is it then that you're laying down foundationally for the people you're working with?
Well, you just got to have your purpose first. If you have a purpose, the purpose is going to be the foundation for everything.
Right.
Because motivation comes and goes.
Sure.
Right? New Year's resolution come and goes.
Yes.
Purpose lasts forever. So why wait until a projected date to say, I'm going to be a new version of me?
Right.
But we have a new day every time we wake up. That's a blank canvas. Mm-hmm. Why can't we be a new version of us today, tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Right? So the number on the calendar shouldn't determine our future. So because it's January 1st, why all of a sudden do I have to be a new version of me versus August 7th?
Sure.
Right? So when you have a purpose, a foundation that you can say, I want to be the best version of me for my family, for my partner, for my kids, for whoever it may be, it starts today. You don't have to wait if you have
Facts.
a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
One of the things that came to mind, right? People do a lot of stress-related responses, in my opinion, in general to life, right? And life's not easy, no matter where you are. I mean, people have it a lot harder than we do here. We're in San Diego, California. Yeah. People have it maybe easier in other places around the world, right? But I do feel like here, because the cost of living is so high, because the amount of free time that we get around working is oftentimes low, we do tend to compensate with stress-related responses, right? Let's say you're at work the whole time, then you come home, you prepare dinner, or if you're lucky enough to have a wife who may have helped out with that, you have a dinner prepared. But at the end of the day, you just want to relax and decompress, right? And especially as we're rolling into the holidays, we just had Thanksgiving, but then, Christmas and pre-Christmas stuff comes around.
Right.
I feel like people get to just get into, a stress-related response where they're just like, I just want to relax. I don't want to do nothing anymore.
Yeah.
I want to wait till the first of the year. And what I was thinking is sometimes the answer to that feeling, I just need to relax on the couch and do nothing. The answer is not do more, right? The answer could be more mindful of what you're doing and determine your purpose,
Yeah.
right? Like, so then having tools such as like a mindfulness practice or like little things that don't cost you energy. Because at the end of the day, my belief is, and I don't know how you think about this, but we all have only so much energy that we can give to a certain thing,
Okay.
right? And so if your energy is burned out or gone because you're not sleeping enough, because, like you're too stressed at work,
Yeah.
then you need to figure out like how to tackle this,
Yeah.
right? And the answer is not necessarily hitting the gym or getting up earlier, but it's figuring out what that could be for you. So that's just one of the things that went through my mind before,
Yeah.
you and I got together today.
Yeah. So a lot of times what happened is a lot of people don't have structure. I was one of them.
Sure.
Okay. So I'd wake up late, get in traffic, get to work complaining because I was late to work. Right now I'm complaining about traffic. I've already woke up with 3 losses.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm gonna wake up with 3 losses, my day is projected to already lose.
I feel that.
Right. So mentally, I'm like, well, if I want to keep losing, I'm gonna keep doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between what I'm doing now versus January 1st? It's not gonna be. I'm gonna still create the same habits. So then when I realized I have to wake up and start taking care of me first, right? Because one, I already said I woke up late, got into traffic. Now I'm stuck in traffic. Get to work late. I'm complaining about all 3 of those things. Now my energy is low.
Yes.
So then my production at work is low.
Right.
Then I eat bad food because I didn't prepare the night before. And then I make a lot of excuses to not go to the gym afterwards because I'm too tired.
Sure.
I've done enough negotiating and complaining throughout the day.
Right.
So flip the script. If I wake up in the morning and take care of myself first, I have no one else to negotiate with except for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I feel better because I took care of me first. Right? So then what happens is, as I'm getting up earlier, taking care of me, it doesn't have to be an hour or 2 hours in the gym.
Right.
You can get up in the morning, you can meditate, you can do prayer, you can stretch,
Amen.
just do something active, hydrate your body, give some good information to your mind, right? And then go on about your day. But physical activity, when you're in that moment, you're not thinking about all the stresses in the world because you're focusing on building a better you.
Yes.
So then when you get to work, you feel better, your energy's better. Now you're giving that to that person. You said a lot of us don't have a lot of energy left.
Mm-hmm.
But if we give our energy, our good energy to ourselves first, we'll give that rest of that good energy to everybody else.
Yes.
Instead of the other way around. Right?
No, that makes sense.
So that's one way to tackle it. Not to go on a tangent here, but without listening to what you're saying, that's just one good way to kind of flip the script a little bit and see how you feel. Give it 10 days, give it 21 days, give it 30 days and see how you feel once you flip that script.
And I want to pick up on that. You said structure, right? I'm
Yeah.
a big believer in systems. So I think it's James Clear who wrote Atomic Habits, but
Yeah.
has done a lot of thinking in that space. And what he drives home is it's not so much having the willpower, but it's having the system, which I believe is what you're referring to when you're saying structure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then I would think you would have to come up with some sort of structure for yourself. I mean, you were
Right.
saying you were unstructured. Now you're a very structured person,
Right.
and I know that because I see you at 2:45
Yeah.
most mornings.
Yes. Pouring my Udemati in, making sure I'm taking care of me first.
Right. But how do you, as you called it, flip the script? Where do you start with structure? How can you bring structure in your life?
Well, it starts with you first.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can't wake up and say, I'm going to go take care of my daughter and make sure she's good if I'm over here slacking.
Right.
Right? And some people go, oh, that's selfish. You're all about you. It's like, no, I need to take care of me
Yes.
so I can take care of my daughter or my wife next. Because if I'm not taking care, if I'm giving myself 10%, how can I give them 100?
Sure.
But if I give myself 100%, then I'm going to give that exact same amount to them. Right? So with that, yes, my structure and the system, you put that together. When we go to work, let's think about it this way. I'll put it in a simple synopsis here. When we go to work, we have our computer set up or whatever it may be, depending on the job that people have. We have a president, we have a CEO, we have a boss, we have technology, we have things that I can't think of it right now, but everything is set up for us to go do our job.
Sure.
So that's a system.
Right.
Okay? And so then when we get to work, we know what to do because we've been taught how to do it based on whoever brought us in and hired us.
Yeah.
That's structure.
Sure.
So if we have a system and a structure for work, why can't we have a system and a structure for ourselves?
Right.
Right? So from there, when I teach my clients all over the world, Do they have to get up at 2:45 like I do? No. Right?
I think they'd fire you.
They probably would. They'd be like, boy, I ain't getting up at 2:45. Right? Yeah, they might fire me. Right? But they don't have to get up at 2:45. But what I am letting them know is that get up in the morning, start taking care of you first.
Mm-hmm.
And if they could do that, I'm telling you, they're more productive at work. They give that good energy to their family, and their whole day is different. And they've realized over the course of time, whether it's 10 days, 21 days, 30 days, they're like, yeah, I do feel better. Yeah, I've realized that, my production is better at work. The people around my family notice that I have more energy to give, and they all around start to feel better because they're better. And
Right.
that's where it starts. Let me tell you like this. So if I'm getting up late,
Mm-hmm.
and my energy is already low,
Mm-hmm.
how can I expect to give that good energy to my daughter or to my wife?
Yeah.
Right? But if I get up in the morning and I take care of myself first and stacking these small wins throughout the morning, then the energy that I'm giving to my daughter or to my wife is different because I've already felt like I won.
Right.
And I want to give that same winning energy to them.
I feel that 100%. I think that's such a nice concept of like the way you said it is stacking your wins,
Yeah.
right? I also think, when you wake up late, oftentimes that creates more stress and anxiety already.
Big time.
Because you're like, well, can I make it to work on time? Like what do I all need to get done? Like there's no focus and no mindfulness behind it. So I like what you're saying or sharing that you need to start stacking wins. Is that just something that you help people with? Do you have an accountability group, or how does that look like for some of your clients and the
Yeah.
work that you do with them?
Yeah, for sure. So when it does come to my coaching, one of the biggest things that a lot of people do lack is accountability.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all need that accountability partner to say, let's go. Let's get
Yeah.
you out of your comfort zone. So each person that's on my team who I coach, I make sure that I'm holding them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all holding me accountable without them even knowing. Why? Because they're all watching me.
Sure. Of
Right?
course.
So when I'm posting on my Instagram stories, 2:45 wake up time, the workouts, making sure that I'm giving that good information, they're all watching.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a circle of accountability. I'm making sure I'm holding them accountable, and then by watching me, they're now holding me accountable.
Right.
So it's a give. Now, so I do have small groups, right? Or I'll create small groups in my WhatsApp. Right?
Okay.
Just to make sure that it's more intimate, it's more private, to make sure that they're getting more information, more depth, more accountability, to where they feel like, yep, I'm about to go win my day. I already opened up my phone and look, Tony sent a video to us personally. Like he's giving that information to us to keep on going, right? That's part of the accountability that a lot of people don't have right now.
I was about to say, let's say not everybody can afford like a coaching program, but what's like a small step that they can take into the right direction toward creating maybe a structure or a system and then more accountability in their lives?
Have somebody that's like-minded, right? So you're posting your workouts, right?
Yeah.
And I see that. I'm like, okay, Ace is getting it in right now, right? And even though we're not saying, hey, can you be my accountability partner?
Right.
It's something to where it's like, look, I see Ace winning. Okay, good. Let me go ahead and stack my win on this today, right? But if you're like, hey, Ace, you know what? For the next 30 days, I need to make sure that I'm dropping 10 pounds, per se, that I'm also staying on track with my eating, that I'm staying on track with my production at work, that I'm at this high level, high frequency, and I just need you to hold me accountable. If you're that type of person that's the same type of mentality, that have that same type of mentality, that mindset, you'll rock with me.
Yeah.
If you have that low frequency, low mentality, negative energy, you're going to be like, yeah, you ain't going to do it. And you automatically literally deterred my drive.
That's a very good point, and it's one that I hear often, that sometimes people feel like other people are holding them back.
Yes.
Right? And on the one side, I understand it, right? Because it's not so easy to find like-minded people, like friends or romantic partners, right? Like you people in your life, right? Like it's sometimes not the easiest thing to do. How have you brought more community in your life whose thinking was aligned, if that makes any sense?
So whether it's from the outside of my clients now who I coach?
Yeah, outside from the clients, just for you personally,
Yeah.
right? Like how did you bring like more accountability or like the right people into your life rather than people than, that were holding you back, so to speak?
So I'll give you a verse by the late great Nipsey Hussle, and I talk about this a lot.
I love that.
Yeah, Nipsey Hussle, he in his video or one of his songs, he says, "Circle got smaller, everybody can't go," and it's on the song "Victory Lap." right? And he's like motioning like circle got smaller, everybody can't go. So those people who had that negative impact, that negative mentality on my drive, gotta let them go.
Right.
Circle's gonna get smaller. So now when I'm at the gym, there's people who I've met there who are like, man, like I see you getting it, I need to make sure I'm getting it in too.
Right.
So now we've created this bond, this community there at the gym. And so we're making sure that we show up every day for each other, right? And for ourselves too. So that's where it's at now, right? So whether we're all together hitting burpees now, right? At the end of our workouts, it's something different about those burpees that just literally puts you in a whole different level mentally.
Yes.
And now we're making sure that we're posting our videos. We're making sure we're posting our stories. And we're holding each other accountable. So that's where it's at for me personally.
All right.
And then outside of that gym, physically, I have my older brother who's taught me from day one how to build the body, right? And so
that's great.
him and I are holding each other accountable, my brother Dorian. And I see what he's doing with his boot camps. He sees what I'm doing with my community. And we're pushing and motivating each other and holding each other accountable.
So there are people in the gym essentially that have become accountability partners and a source of positive light, and then there's your brother, right?
Yep.
So I'm just thinking, sometimes people that I hear from say, I don't have anybody. I have nobody, right? And I feel like it's hard to start from scratch because you can go to a gym and be completely anonymous, right? Like, I mean, I've worked out at plenty 24-hour fitness here in San Diego County and around the country.
Yeah.
And you don't ever meet anybody because that's the type of gym. Are you going to a different gym or what's that been like for you?
Yeah, so at first I was at the gym. It's called the gym.
Yes.
It used to be World's Gym, and that's down at Pacific Beach. And we had a small community there, right? My coach, Wes Watson, he was the dude, right? And so us coaches under him, we were working out, make sure we're getting our workouts in, showing up every day.
Right.
And then in April of this year of 2023, I ended up going to EOS, and that's where I'm at now. Some people call it EOS. But I go to EOS now, and literally it was just me by myself. I had nobody now. Right. So I'm starting from scratch. But I just kept showing up every day.
Yeah.
Posting the stories every day, showing the location every day. And then I met somebody else who was part of Wes Watson's program, and then him and I started working out. Then I brought my friend in, and so now we're all working out. So it starts with us. Now, physically, nobody might not be there to say, hey, I want to jump in with you.
Right.
But the other way is start posting those stories.
Oh,
Because
I see what you're saying.
people will watch.
So you're building your connection through like social media.
Yeah, that's our resume to the world.
Yes.
Right? So if we're posting every day and we're showing up, somebody's going to reach out and say, man, I keep seeing you showing up all the time. Like, you're motivating me now.
Right.
You know what that does to us who's posting that? That tells us, shoot, we can't let them down, so we got to keep showing up.
Yeah, I feel that.
And now our circle is going to get a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Right? But we have to show up for us first, and then people will start recognizing that, and they'll start jumping in.
Yeah. I think one of the things that you talk a lot about, or that you show a lot, is your physical workouts, right? From a finish the year strong perspective, right? Like, are there any other tools on the mindset side other than staying fit physically, going for walks, going to the gym, going for a run, that you think are helpful, like, to you or your clients? Like,
making sure that you're staying connected with the right people. And it's all about quality. You don't need 10, 15, 20 people.
Sure.
Sometimes that's a little too much, and it can be overwhelming. Have you ever been part of a group chat where it's like 18 to 20 people?
I've removed myself from it.
Exactly, right?
Because, yeah, no, I feel like for me personally,
It's too much noise.
It's too much noise.
Right.
And especially if the noise is not trending in the right direction, then all of a sudden you find yourself consuming stuff that you really just...
It's a distraction.
It's a distraction.
So make it small. Make it small group of people to where you can stay connected with through your journey.
Right.
So even if it is at the end of the year and you're like, you know what, my 2 to 3 people who I have in this circle with me, I'm gonna be traveling. I might take a little bit of downtime.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep you guys informed. That lets them know, okay, cool, this person's gonna be doing that. I'm gonna let them know what I'm gonna be doing. Now it's a communication.
Yeah.
So when you have that small quality circle with good communication, you guys are doing this together, right? So somebody may be traveling for a week. Hey, I'm gonna be out in the snow doing this, or I just want to, show you guys some love. That's good. it's good to get that from somebody else, right? Because you know you're in this journey together, but hey, I'll be back, right? Make sure you guys getting it in. So it's good to have that. Mentally, it boosts you up because you're not just in isolation. You're not by yourself.
Yeah, I feel that.
Right.
So shrink your circle if there's too much noise in your circle
Yes.
of people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
No, that makes sense. That's a good tool.
Yeah.
On the eating side, I feel like there's so much noise too, right? Like what we put into our body. You can go keto, you can go plant-based, you can eat meat, you can eat no meat, you should eat a high fiber diet. No, you eat a diet that's full of fat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not coming to you and asking like give us a silver bullet on that front, right? Because I first of all believe that moderation, and that's such a cliche to say too. You know, a moderation of smoking cigarettes is still not moderation, right?
Right.
But moderation is a helpful way of approaching your food. But I do believe you get energy from the food that you eat, and eating the right food can have an impact on how you feel, right? So when you give clients guidance, what do you help them with when it comes to eating?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that side. So the workouts, okay, we're good.
Yes.
Mindset side, I just want to wrap that up real quick. So now we're gonna talk about the food. All right, so let me just go ahead and lift this leg up real fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me get a little comfortable because when it comes to the foods, man, before I used to kiss my food, I used to bow down to my food, I used to pray to my food.
Yes.
I used to worship junk food.
Okay.
Right, and it made me feel good at that time, but then it only did nothing but do this to me.
Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to the food, man, I tell everybody especially whether I'm talking to my clients or whether I'm talking on live, is that when you feed your body with good food, your body's gonna reward you with love. If you feed your body with junk food, your body's gonna reward you with regret. Okay. So nobody's ever eaten clean and said, "Man, I hate this."
Right.
Right. I'm not talking about diets. I don't believe in diets. Because people go on a diet and they go off the diet. Right.
And the yo-yo.
Right. So we're talking about lifestyle.
Right.
So when we eat good food, our body's like, thank you for treating me like this. I'm going to reward you with love.
Right.
But when we start to eat the sugary food because for some reason the holidays just gives us permission to do that, we feel good in the moment, but then we crash down.
Right.
And then we do that multiple times during the holidays, and all of a sudden we put on 10 to 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll blame the holidays.
We blame the holidays. It's not uncommon. I just heard somebody come back from a cruise saying, "Oh, I gained, I don't know, it was between 10 and 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And now I need to focus, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and this is not like me thinking from a point of judgment, but I'm thinking like, what would I do differently myself?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would not just be on the cruise and just use it as an opportunity to just gain 15 or 20 pounds.
Right.
Because you can be mindful on a cruise too and still enjoy the varieties of foods that are offered to you.
Oh, man.
Same with Thanksgiving, right?
Oh, man. I have clients that I've coached where they've gone on a cruise, come back, and they've actually lost weight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not from the bad food. It's just because they've created these habits now.
Yeah, and structure.
They still enjoyed the cruise.
Okay.
They're like, I don't need to have all this stuff to enjoy my time on a cruise. I actually feel better because I treated myself better.
Okay. So now you mentioned whole foods, or I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you mentioned eating a clean diet. So what does that technically mean? Like, can you just give us a couple of examples?
Yeah.
So people who, have some unclarity with what should I even be eating to feel better, like to just have a little bit of an idea, right?
Right. So I want to make sure that people understand that they need to take in their macronutrients and their micronutrients, all right? Your macronutrients, the big dog, your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Those are your macronutrients. People call them macros. And you have your micronutrients. A lot of people don't talk about that. That's your vitamins and your minerals, right? So one of the things that a lot of people will leave out is fiber.
Okay.
I'm big on fiber. So if you can get your macronutrients in, which I customize macronutrients for each client that I have.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I customize your macronutrients, making sure that they're giving their body their micronutrients and their fibers, they feel so much better. I'm not talking about a diet, whether you're animal-based, plant-based, vegetarian, pescatarian, doesn't matter. Just get those numbers in. and fill your body up with that nutrition. Now you're 100% nourished. Micro, macro nourishment.
Okay.
Right? People go, what about paleo? Who cares? What about vegan? Who cares?
Right.
If I make it very simple for people. So there's no bland restrictive diets. You just follow the numbers and make sure that you're being consistent.
Yes.
And when people have done that, they're like, this is so much easier than I thought. And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, it
interesting.
should be.
Yeah.
It should be a simple process to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Right? So when they say, well, can I go eat out? Yeah, you can go eat out. Just follow the numbers.
Okay.
Right? So they don't feel restricted. Why would I want to tell somebody what they can't do?
Right.
I want to give that person freedom to enjoy the foods, but also enjoy the lifestyle that they're living, because they've been told so much that they can't have this, they can't do that, they can't drink this.
And that's exhausting, right? Like
Yeah.
that is mentally exhausting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And intermittent fasting is key. For me, I'm a big proponent of intermittent fasting. A lot of people will go against it. I don't really care. I've
Right.
been on the flip side before.
Right.
But intermittent fasting, you're letting your body rest.
Yes.
You're letting your body recover, restore, and rejuvenate.
Well, and from all the research that I've done, I do intermittent fasting too. I'm probably not as regimented as you are, right? Like when I go out at night, for example, and I eat dinner at 8 versus 6, I'll still fast till noon or 1.
Yeah.
But, I have some flex, so I feel like that fits my lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I skip that breakfast and
Yeah.
skip drinking any sugary drinks or whatnot, so I'm not breaking my fast. So I
Yeah.
just drink water for the most part. But I feel like it's been tremendously helpful in controlling my weight, right? Like,
Yeah.
so that makes sense as well.
Yeah. Right now, while I'm talking to you on fasting, I don't feel sluggish.
Yeah.
I don't feel tired. My energy is up right now. And I'm giving that to you, and I'm giving it to the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I wanted to commend you on is no coffee. Like that's
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember last year, like in the mornings you were having a lot of coffee and you said,
Yeah.
enough of this nervous energy.
Yeah.
And again, like I'm not coming at this from, hey, everybody should stop drinking coffee. I think
Yeah.
that there are also some health benefits by drinking a cup of coffee in the morning. But it's a good thing to give up if you're drinking it too much.
Right.
Like, or it's a good thing to change your thinking around it, because if you're drinking it too much, there's probably a reason why you're doing that.
Yeah,
right?
I was drinking so much to where I started having throbbing in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Like brain fog.
Yeah.
And so right now, like I'm sipping on, this is called Unimati.
Okay.
And it's like a tea type.
I hope you brought me one.
I got some. I stay packed everywhere I go, man.
I appreciate that,
do.
brother.
Yeah, I do. I got you. You can drink it hot or cold. And so right now, while I am sipping on that helps me with fasting.
Okay.
I'm not even thinking about food. And while I'm talking to you, I'm definitely not thinking about food, because I'm like, I want to bring that good, phenomenal energy, right, to the house, out to the audience, right, and also, for myself too.
Yeah, I
right?
feel
But,
that.
I've always asked people, right after you finish eating, how do you feel? They're like, tired, so I want to go to sleep.
Especially after a big meal.
Right. So after that big meal, especially during the holidays, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the holidays. Is that when that big meal come around and you're like, man, I want to go to sleep.
Uh-huh.
Imagine if I had a big meal and I came to right now to you and I'm over here trying to do this. I'll be dozing off during the show, like forgetting words, because my body's like, oh, you gonna give me this amount?
And I think the show would take on a different character. It'd be more like comedy and stuff. And we can sure do one on Tony Drake passing out on my couch.
Yeah, right. And having a big old jacket on because I don't want to show a lot of fluff. Like that kind of stuff is like, I just don't. Things have changed.
Yes.
Right? I know what it's like to be on that flip side.
Yes.
To not feel my best.
Yes.
And so it's easy for me to talk about this and share it, because now that I'm on the other side and I feel completely different, I can go back to that flip side and talk about it
Right.
with conviction, because I remember what it was like to be lazy and on the couch and drinking eggnog just because it's the holidays.
Just because it's the holidays.
Just because it's the holidays,
Yes.
right? But if you think about it, the holidays is one day in December,
Right.
or two, depending on which one you celebrate.
Yeah.
One in November, and that's it.
And this is not coming from a finger pointing you should not enjoy like a family meal. There's so much value in sitting down with your loved ones, with your friends, and enjoy a meal. I think the point is just not to have that every day until the end of the year and gorge yourself on
Right.
candy and sweets and leftovers every day until the end of the year, just because it's available and accessible. Right.
And it's right there. And then people will go, well, they're going to be having, drinks. They're going to be having candy and cake and snacks and all this kind of stuff. Should I just leave it out? I'm like, look, here's what you got to do, right? Load up on all the good, nutritious food first.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're loading up on all the good, nutritious foods first, your body feels good, right? And the other thing, I have another pack too. I was talking about this here, but I have another one where it's just filled with fiber, vitamins, and minerals, and people love it.
Yes.
So now that they feel so much better, instead of having this amount of junk food, they now have this amount at the end because their body's already filled up with everything else and they feel good.
It's interesting that you say that. One of the things that I've noticed for myself over the last month, I've just still felt hungry at night, right?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than eating, I would just drink water,
Yeah.
right? Like a very simple hack. I would just drink, like 32 ounces of water, and I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
that urge, that feeling is gone. And I feel like food can trigger or emotional responses to external circumstances can trigger a lot of these cravings of like food or sugary drinks,
Oh, yeah.
right?
No doubt.
And so what I'm curious about, since you made, a huge transition from like, worshipping your food to having a different relationship with food, one that's
Right.
much healthier. If you're looking at the emotional response part, right? Like how can people have less of an emotional response like stress eating or just, it's because of the holiday type eating.
Yeah.
What would you say like are a couple of things that may be helpful to look at?
Oh man, you hit this one right on the head. Because I just did a video, and instead of emotional eating, why not do emotional activity? Okay. So I'll give you an example. Holidays are here. It doesn't even have to be the holidays, but because we're talking about the holidays.
Yes.
Right. A lot of times, this is the most depressing time of the year for people.
For some people, yeah, for sure.
Right. And so the eating piles on,
Yeah.
the weight piles on, and now they're falling in a deeper rabbit hole because the depression has kicked in, which triggers the emotional eating, which
Yes.
promotes weight gain. So now you're doubling down. But why not double up? Yes, we know that this season is going to come when we start to get depressed. We know what we've done in the past when emotional eating hits and we put on the weight. So if we know that's going to come, how do we make sure that we don't hit it again? Okay. Seasonal depression comes around. This time, I'm going to make sure that I'm getting out every morning and just taking a walk. Maybe doing some type of activity to where I'm going to dance. I'm going to get out and get on the treadmill. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do Pilates. Whatever it is to where you can be active.
Yes.
When you're in that moment of activity, those seasonal depression moments may come, but the more you continue to be active mentally, you start to break through that depression slowly but surely. And now you realize, I didn't put the weight on this year. I actually came through the season feeling better and I've lost weight. Now mentally you're leveling up, and when it comes around next year, you already know what to do because you started to change who you are when that season comes.
So what I hear you say then is, if this is coming on, just create awareness of it.
Yeah.
And figure out emotional activities, right?
Yes.
Like, I think I heard Tony Robbins say once, motion creates emotion.
Yeah.
Right?
Big time.
So one of the things that I hear you say is like, do an activity that makes you feel good instead of get the feel good from the food. Is that fair to say?
Because the feel good from the food goes like this and then it crashes. Right? Especially the junk food.
Right.
So like for example, for me, this is just moment by moment. The holidays come and go. But there's times where I literally get so upset, I get so angry. Something may have happened.
Right.
Before, I'm running to the chips, I was running to the drinks, I was running to everything. Right. Those are vices that never really gets us to the next level.
I feel that.
But now I'm like, you know what, let me get outside, let me hit some burpees. Now, does everybody have to do burpees? No. Okay, but
I do walks, I admit it.
So he does walks, right? People do jump rope, right?
Yes.
People do push-ups, people do something, but I hit the burpees. And by the time when I'm done with hitting those burpees, I'm too tired to think about why I was upset.
Right.
So if you're just saying, it's hard to start at first, I get it. But once you're in that motion and you start going, I'm on burpee number 6, number 8, number 10, and I get up and I'm like, all right, I'm tired. Like, what can I do now? Now it's switched to where I'm like, the energy's back up and now I want to be more productive.
Right.
So just doing those small changes of emotional activity versus emotional eating it would definitely make a big difference. The hardest part is starting.
Starting, yeah. And that's where I always say start with something small, right? Like I've said it over and over again. The mentor of mine said to me, "You can eat an elephant one bite at a time."
Yeah.
It's disgusting because we don't eat elephants, but it paints the picture of like doing something little to get into motion, right? Like and if walking is the smallest thing you can do, or if you know, like doing a couple of squats or push-ups in your house is the smallest thing that you can do, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a moment and recap a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
Like we talked about the fitness, the physical fitness part.
Yeah.
We talked about the mindset part behind of it. We talked about systems and community.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about food. So those are 4 things you can look at if you want to finish the year strong, where you can pull the lever. And you don't have to do it all 4 at once, but if you can take 1 or 2 areas of improvement before the year's out that you would like to double down on, I think that'd be a fantastic place to start. So Tony, there's a lot we covered, but are there any last nuggets or any other nuggets of wisdom that you want to leave us with before the year's out?
Yeah. So number 1 is that don't let a number predict your results, right? Oh, I'm going to wait till 1/1/2024, right? There's no magical Mondays. There's no new year, new me. Instead, start with new day. Those cliches.
Wouldn't that be nice? You wake up on the 1st and you're like,
yeah, here
boom.
I am. All the results just came, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that would be nice, right? But there's no personal development in that.
Yes.
Right? So how about new day, new you? Right?
Yeah.
The moment you wake up every day, look forward to stack small wins every day. Stack those small wins every day. And make sure that when you're in a group of other people that they're very like-minded. Okay? This way, if you do share the goals that you're looking forward to having, make sure they align with you on that. You guys are walking in this path together, because isolation sometimes it can really make sure it'll make your purpose go this way.
Yes.
Right? You want to fulfill that purpose on a daily basis. And then the other thing is that the information that you're receiving today, please apply it, because there's a lot of people who will get the information and they'll go, man, I needed to hear that. That was good. And then they'll go on about their regular day and their habits are still the same. And then they'll blame everybody else, but except for themselves. The information is with you now. Now you just have to apply it, right? And not just rely on so much like, what's the next information that I can get? Because the information won't get you the results, but the application will.
And I feel like that also makes you not the most attractive person, right? Like if you're blaming everything else on everybody around you, right? Because you do have the power to start with one friend at a time, right? Like that's more supportive, by finding a local meetup, by going to a gym that takes a different approach, by looking at other resource groups. And I wanted to say one thing real quick before we end this, but I think professional guidance sometimes, if you're completely stuck, can be helpful. No matter if that's a coach like Tony, no matter if that's a physician, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, somebody who can professionally guide you on your journey to becoming better, right? It doesn't always need to be just a friend or a family member or somebody who is close to you. You can also look at professional help to get you to the next level if your medical system allows for it, or if your finances and resources allow for it. Sometimes that is the thing that will get you jump started.
Yeah, for sure. And money is inexpensive. Time is super expensive. So which one would you rather have?
Yes.
You can't get time back, but you can always make more money.
Yes.
So if you say, I'm going to invest in me by hiring a coach to get me to the next level, you get that time back, no matter which field you're in. So think about it that way too. Don't think about you're spending money on something to get you to the next level, but you're investing in yourself to develop personally and professionally in your life. And when you look at it that way, your whole habits change, your whole mentality changes, your whole outlook changes. And then from there, as you start to go on that journey, you realize that you are leveling up more and more and more because you've invested in you and you get that time back.
I feel that 100%. And I think sometimes it bites to spend money on, professional services, a coach, whatever you want to name it, right, to just become a little bit better. But if you're on the opposite end of the spectrum and it's been going on for months or years that you're stuck, maybe it's time to reframe how you spend your money, your relationship between time and money, as Tony just as Tony just put it.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm incredibly grateful that you guys tuned in today and spent some time here with us.
Yep.
Tony, I'm super grateful that we got to do this before the year's out. So much love, man.
My brother. As always, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, I really appreciate you being here. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. I will link to a 3-part series that I did with Tony on just mindset, physical fitness, and everything for you here. And we'll add this maybe as a 4th part or something, or just a new piece of information. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the flip side.
Let's get it. Yeah, that.